Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're unpacking a truly fascinating ancient system, what I like to call the spiritual ledger. We're looking at this profound dialogue from ancient Indian texts between King Yudhishthira and the immortal sage Markandeya. And you know, they aren't just sitting around discussing vague philosophy, they're actually decoding a highly complex, almost mathematical theology of the afterlife. They literally treat morality, charity, and purity as tangible currencies in a cosmic economy. Okay, let's dive right into this. According to these ancient texts, what exactly happens to our actions after we die? I mean, we often think of karma as this general balancing of the scales, right? But Markandeya outlines a universe where every single earthly action corresponds to a very specific, literal consequence on your post-mortem journey. This question is going to be our narrative hook today, framing the entire journey of the soul, from earthly life through the perilous transition of death, all the way to ultimate salvation.
Now, to really understand the stakes here, we first have to look at the sheer scale of the journey, 86,000. That is the number of yojanas, which is an ancient measure of distance between the realm of the living and the region of Yama, the Lord of Death. So this isn't just a blink and you're there kind of transition. No, it's a massive, terrifying trek across this barren space with zero water, not the shade of a single tree, and absolutely nowhere to rest. And you're forced along this 86,000 yojana highway by the messengers of Yama. So how do you even survive a journey like that? Well, you have to prepare for it while you're still alive.
Section 1. The Rules of Charity, the Economy of Earthly Giving.
So, charity acts as your primary spiritual investment for the afterlife. But the text explicitly warns that not all investments yield a return. Actually, it lists 16 kinds of futile charity. That means there are 16 ways you can give away your wealth and get absolutely zero spiritual merit in return. For instance, giving away wealth that was wrongly earned, totally useless. Giving to a thief, to a false preceptor, or to someone who's just ungrateful yields literally nothing. Even your state of mind matters. If your mind is clouded with darkness and you give out of fear or anger, the text says that gift is completely in vain. The whole system demands that the giver, the receiver, and the intention all be perfectly pure.
Section 2. Food and the guest, the ultimate offering. So if those 16 actions are bad investments, what's the blue chip stock of this spiritual economy? Well, it's food. The text draws this profound philosophical equivalence here that elevates a simple meal to a literal cosmic event. It states that food itself is Prajapati, the creator god Brahma. Prajapati is then regarded as the year, representing time, and the year is synonymous with cosmic sacrifice, from which all mobile and immobile creatures take their origin. Because of this, when you give food, you aren't just filling a stomach, you're actively participating in the fundamental sacrifice that sustains the universe itself. Pretty wild, right? And the text offers this beautiful, highly specific mini-narrative to show just how accessible this merit is. Picture this, a weary, dust-covered traveler with weakened limbs asking where he might find something to eat. The text says that a wise person who simply directs this toil-worn traveler to someone who will feed him earns the exact same merit as the person who actually cooks and serves the food. Directing someone to a meal, or even just welcoming a guest with water to wash their tired legs and offering them light in the darkness, literally saves you from having to face the grim judgment of Yama.
Section 3. The Road to Yama, the Ultimate Travel Insurance.
And this brilliantly illustrates how this earthly economy acts as literal travel insurance for that terrifying 86,000 yojana trek we talked about. Notice the direct one-to-one mapping here. If you gave umbrellas to the worthy on earth, you get to proceed on Yama's road with an umbrella warding off the scorching sun. Give horses, you get vehicles to ride instead of having to walk. Give food, you travel without hunger. But the most striking one has to be water. Givers of water get to drink from the cool, ambrosial Pushpodaka river in the afterlife. But those of evil deeds who gave nothing, the text explicitly states they are forced to drink pus. It's a really stark, unforgettable visual of cause and effect. There are also some incredibly surprising, very specific details about how personal sacrifice, like fasting, translates into literal magical transportation. For example, if you fast for a month, you don't just walk comfortably. You are transported on cars drawn by swans. Fasting for 6 nights gets you a car drawn by peacocks. It really highlights how heavily this ancient culture weighed physical restraint and discipline, rewarding it with literal divine luxury.
Section 4. True Purity and Asceticism, Inner Purity versus Outer Ritual.
Now, you might be wondering if you can just buy your way to a comfortable afterlife with gifts. Is it all just a physical transaction? Well, Yudhishthira asks how one truly purifies themselves, which shifts us from the physical to the mental realm. Markandeya outlines 3 fundamental steps to purity: purity in speech,
purity in deed, and purity achieved by the use of water, representing physical cleanliness. The text notes that a person who strictly practices these three purifications becomes spiritually impenetrable. Even terrible Rakshasas, which are these gigantic, fierce demons subsisting on animal food, are completely unable to prevail over someone armed with this kind of holistic purity.
Markandeya is very careful to draw a hard line here. Notice the stark contrast. On one side, you have extreme outer rituals, stuff like matted hair, wearing tree bark, shaving your head, and totally starving your body. On the other side, inner purity, a pure heart, kindness to relatives, and avoiding sin in word and thought. Markandeya states unequivocally that extreme physical asceticism is completely useless if the heart isn't pure. You can't just dry up your flesh and blood and expect holiness, you know? Hard-heartedness is the ultimate enemy of true asceticism.
So the crucial point is captured in this phenomenal quote: "The suspension of the function of the senses is the true fasting." You see, of the 6 senses recognized in this philosophy, the mind is actually singled out as the most easily moved and the most dangerous. True fasting isn't just about having an empty stomach, it's about starving the mind's attachment to worldly desires.
This mental and spiritual discipline yields incredible power, specifically for the Brahmanas, the priestly and scholarly class in this ancient structure. The text points out that virtuous Brahmanas don't need weapons of iron and steel. Their spiritual ledger is so immense that their very anger acts as a formidable weapon. It strikes down negativity, just like the king of the gods, Indra, slaying demons with his thunderbolt.
Section 5. The Path to Salvation, the Final Destination. As we reach the cosmic climax of this explainer, we really have to look at the ultimate destination, because there is a massive difference between securing a comfortable afterlife trip and achieving true salvation. Up to this point, we've talked about a spiritual economy, right? Asceticism, fasting, and charity are currencies. They buy objects of enjoyment, they purge sins, and they grant you access to heaven. But heaven, in this context, is just a temporary stop. Once your merit runs out, you return. By stark contrast, knowledge is the absolute only way to break the cycle forever and achieve complete emancipation.
So what exactly is that knowledge? The text defines emancipation as complete salvation achieved purely by understanding and believing in one's identity with the Supreme Soul. It's moving past that transactional mindset of I do this to get that and realizing that the very core of who you are is inherently tied to the divine. Belief in this identity, Markandeya says, is the sure indication of salvation.
To find this knowledge, the text points directly to the Vedas, the ancient sacred scriptures. It boldly states that the Vedas aren't just books, they are the Supreme Soul, His body, and the truth. It advises seekers to give up dry disputation, basically pointless arguing, and instead use their pure intellect and reason alongside these texts to know the undecaying One. It's a really profound shift from physical ritual action to deep intellectual and spiritual realization.
Now, what's truly fascinating here is how the text merges this high philosophy back into the practical world. Yudhishthira asks for more rules on charity, and Markandeya reveals that the spiritual economy actually has cosmic merit multipliers based on time. Think about this. A gift given in a particular season gets 10 times the normal merit. Give it during the exact change of a season? That's 100 times the merit. Give a gift during a solar or lunar eclipse, when the shadow planet Rahu is visible. That is a massive 1,000 times multiplier to your spiritual ledger. And for those looking to absolutely maximize their ledger, the text lists the 3 most eternal gifts, connecting them to their divine origins. Giving gold connects you to fire, or Agni. Giving earth or land connects you to Vishnu. Giving cows connects you to the sun. In fact, it specifically notes an incredible loophole. Giving away a cow at the exact moment its calf is half born is spiritually equivalent to giving away the entire earth itself, securing merit for thousands of yugas.
Which leaves us with this final thought to ponder. We've seen how this ancient text builds a meticulous framework where every umbrella given, every drop of water shared, and every pure thought held acts as literal currency for the soul's greatest journey. It kind of forces us to look at our own lives not just as a series of random events, but as a carefully calculated spiritual ledger. So, if your everyday actions right now are building your cosmic itinerary, where is your next destination? Thank you for exploring this source material with me today, and as always, keep questioning the world around you.